that's about it for their, hard CC. So you're going to have a tough time against that Leona lane. It's going to be very devastating against them. But then again, Joe, we've talked about before, if you're in a very aggressive lane with like a Leona, Ezreal, if you fall behind in the beginning, you're just going to fall that much further behind throughout the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, it's hard to be aggressive when you're behind, that's the point. And that's what you kind of have to do when you've got that Leona in there. She, not giving any sustain over towards Ezreal. It's all about protection and getting in there for the fights with her. So that'll certainly be an interesting thing to look at. You can see that Makler going for that cleanse, which is no real surprise when you've got a Leona in there as well. And as per usual, Charu, even when playing Twisted Fate, takes teleport.
Yeah, he takes teleport on pretty much anything these days. But Joe, I mean, look at the teams. Who do you really have your money on? We have a really hard engaged, really tanky team for LGIM. And on the other side, we have just kind of an all-around spread-out team.
I'm going to go with LGIM. I said it at the start of this one without even seeing the picks. I really like their lineup there as well. I'm just interested to see what impact Charu is going to have on this game, because my opinion is that he really has to get involved. We saw in that last game that, Twisted Fate, if he doesn't get involved, he can't impact the game in the way that you need a mid-lane player to do.
Yeah, completely agree.
He actually got ruined in that last game, didn't he? He was level 2 to level 6 at one point and never really had any impact. So, yeah, that's going to a key point to watch. We are pretty much ready for the game. It is the passionate Poles against the crazy Koreans. It's LGIM up against MYM for a place in the grand final where a Nexus already wait for them.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the caster's desk of Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. Rivington third here with Freak, and I'm just like excited for this matchup. I'm like, wait, nope, we got to present ourselves first. But it is going to be the Koreans versus the Poles, and we've seen the Koreans lose a matchup here. They have a little bit of momentum from their coach behind them. We heard what Paul said earlier, but this LGIM team is scary.
They are. You gave Ring Troll his favorite champion, his best champion, Jungle Lee Sin. You've got a really awesome top laner, a Lilac on Xin Zhao, who's been doing phenomenally well throughout this tournament. Not the most contested pick, but I think the right team's been grabbing him and doing very, very well with that champion. And just in general, you look down that lineup, and LGIM, they are a pretty stacked team. They are one of the best teams in Korea, one of the best teams in the world. Meet Your Maker is definitely one of the best teams in Europe, but generally speaking, they're against a very tough opponent here.
Freak coming in, Leona is going to be the first time she is picked here, so we'll have to see how they use her to engage. Obviously, it's that over 1,000 range Solar Flare to start off these fights, but it's just going to be that dive team. Lilac and Ring coming in. Mid King trying to zone for Paragon. I think they have a really good team fight setup, but as well as that early game from Xin Zhao. Coming in on the other side, we've seen Rumble going for a tanky build. 2 games straight in a row, and it's been very effective, especially just baiting out ultimates. So we'll see if Kuban can replicate what has happened in this past match.
And right off the bat, we're actually seeing Meet Your Makers with an aggressive opening. They sent their support down, I believe their support down, to put a ward down on their own golem buff, but they're all kind of coming back over here, and they're looking, this looks like a late invade on blue, basically. Xin Zhao's already left hit that top lane, a Lilac. He's standing in a very weird spot, though, because the thing is for LGIM, they don't have great ward coverage, and so it's a little bit easy for MYM to kind of sneak in across the map. But with Rumble recalling, I think he's going to go bottom, and they're going to late steal blue, and then they're going to have a really, really tough line. LGIM's going to have a tough time dealing with this top lane.
This is probably their best bet. Karthus is going to be really reliant on that blue, and even if they can get the timer on this, they can harass the second one, and they are just sitting up there for that late invade, Freak.
Now, the one thing that they might have to their advantage is this ward, I believe, did spot Dr. Mundo going up this way, so they might know this invade is happening. The tricky thing, though, is will Lilac find anyone? There's LGIM's vision. They see him. They do not see Lilac. The cleaver goes out. MYM does not know they're spotted. There's the ward. Now they know.
So they have the timer, and they have everything they want. Pushing out Lilac here, it's going to be a little bit slower for him to get around this jungle. Very nice job, and with that jungle going right back into his own, and the AD carry and support going top, they're losing nothing on this.
So that'll be just a straight-up setup here. This would be a little bit difficult for Kuban, but this was their idea. Meet Your Makers decided they wanted to 2 versus 1, let Rumble have this little bit of a rough lane, and completely zone out Xin Zhao. And I like that choice. Xin Zhao's going to have a much harder time in that sort of matchup than Rumble will. But LGIM are stealing the blue. Very good adaptation by them to know that was coming from the first place.
So it looks like the lanes will just match up with the AD carry support, swap, and the tops. They see Rumble trying to, or Kuban rather, sees LGIM in his own jungle. Up top lane, there's a little bit of aggression here as he goes very strong, looking for first blood. A 2v1, and he finds it. A Lilac coming up huge, but one last auto attack makes it a 1-for-1.
The funny thing with that is, though, that actually goes in Meet Your Maker's favor, because Lilac picked up 400 gold for first blood.
Right.
Meet Your Maker's picked up 450 for a kill and an assist. And it also means that Graves is getting solo XP and Xin Zhao's picking up nothing. If Graves can push this to the turret in time, Lilac will get none of this experience and be even farther behind. He should normally get all this XP for himself, and he's about to lose a lot of it.
The 3-minute mark of the junglers coming bottom. They are going to see, but they dive in, especially with him there. The 3v1 situation, he will not make it out of this one. There's the teleport. The gold calls came out a little late. A beautiful and quick arcane shift gets him out, and they pick up 2 kills on the go.
Oh man, the teleport from Twisted Fate not showing up in time. Paragon just out of turret range when the gold card stun landed, and he just took so much punishment through that. Amazing, amazing tower dive there by LGIM. Sorry I picked that one up a little bit late, but dang, that was a nice move.
Freak, they're creating action in every lane. I almost missed that myself. The only reason I heard it is because of the sound, or noticed it was because of the sound. Lilac now pushing back Libic here. Graves to come back to lane. Looks like he actually has bought himself a pink ward, so maybe once they get this pushed up, they want these wards cleared. They know they need to shut down Zinmore. After that first blood, is he going to get himself a second one? Mackler comes in just in time.
And Lilac actually, in retrospect, he had actually opened up with Red Elixir and Potions, so he was looking to play aggressively from the get-go. The damage he got from that helped him out there, and now he's got a Doran's Blades who's got even more attack damage. He's sitting at 104.
Oh my gosh, he's being so aggressive right now. He may go down here. One last shot, the quick draw is there, and it is going to be actually the spike, so a little cool that it went to the support for them.
Well, it allowed him to get some items really, really quickly. Of course, Libic, already with the Fairy Charm, will allow him to go for a Philosopher's Stone, I think actually right now if he wants to, but right now, of course, they have to kind of deal with Ring Troll in this top lane. Mokate, unfortunately, that pink ward did not see this sight ward there, so they think they don't know Mokate's there, but LGIM does know this.
Looks like they are trying to push him back to the tower. Mundo won't come out for the lane gank. They almost get the grasping root there, but it looks like Xin, they may try to do something on this as well. Libic is very low, and it's just been a focus of Lilac when he gets to lane, and Lee Sin is not moving ring. They may go in for an attack here.
And we'll see what ends up happening, because Xin Zhao's coming. He's from the side. He does not have flash, though, so most of the engages will be very easily read right here. Ring lands a clue. Oh, here he goes.
Yep, they are going for Libic. They get the slow, and the cripple down. A great grasping root could keep him alive. He's forced to dash to the plant, and they lose all of their gap closers, Freak. The reinitiation and knowledge of Mukate to know that lane was getting pushed, and we would see Lilac back there comes to help the counter.
That was a very nice move, Ring Troll. You know, Wing over to a ward just to land the Q more easily, and then having that cooldown back in time to get away without dying. And LGIM even still have a great situation because they're going to get that bottom turret right now, and they're going to run right out. They're trying to zone Rumble away. Of course, he's already recalling. This is a very smart ward right here. We'll keep them from getting ganked later on down this lane, and they'll shove this and probably buy some items and then swap back.
A little bit of a gold lead here, about 2,000 right now after those first few kills. LGIM making a big impact in the beginning of the game, but MYM is still scratching right at them. We're scratching back. 2 kills to 3 kills right now at 6 minutes, and that first turret only opens up the top lane. It's really no focus for Dragon. It's no focus for mid, so that really just becomes a farm fest up there.
This will be difficult. So Kuban, yeah, he's going to be able to get some farm pretty easily, but LGIM have really pushed themselves ahead here, up 2,000 gold. And they don't really show any signs of slowing down. So that turret is theirs. They've been able to defend this turret very well. It's at 80% health. Lilac, despite having what I called as a rough lane, is actually thriving quite well. He's actually beating Graves in minion kills. So that'll tell you how well Lilac's doing in a 1 vs 2 here.
Coming out with that aggression of the red pot. Haven't seen it for quite some time. We saw it a little bit in Thailand as well, though. But these guys seem to like that quick aggression on the HP. 7 minutes into this one, more pings are going down. It looks like they're going to poise 3 top here as they switch up the lanes after being destroyed. Lilac doing a very good job of using his gap closer, making them want it even more because here comes Paragon. He is almost in range, kind of shoots a minion there. They're like, we'll just push him back. So they decide to really take that one down.
All right, but Lasha's now pink warded this brush, which is going to give them a lot of coverage for ganks. MYM will no longer see junglers come into that lane unless they go through tri-brush, which is not that likely for LGIM's jungler. So we'll see what ends up happening here, but this is not a good situation for Meet Your Makers.
The pings down from both teams. Meet Your Makers saying there is a pink ward in this bush right here. They keep pinging it. They're very afraid of what could happen here. They did get pushed back a little bit. They think that Zin has stayed in the bush and came back around, but I wouldn't blame him. Lilac has been very aggressive right now, and Ring is bottom. So it looks like they are going to be going on to Rumble down bottom. Can it be enough time? Ring pulls the bait out, and Rumble is going to bite for it. He is just walking around taking a bit of damage. Can he get out of this one? And there's Zin to come in, Freak. He's going to get the 3-talent strike. Does he have the scrap shield to get away? The movement B, but the flash attack to pick it up.
That was excellent by Ring. He just baited all the cooldowns out and then said, all right, I'm going to run, and ran away. Knew exactly how much damage he would take there. Didn't have his ultimate, didn't care. Didn't have flash, still knew he'd get out. It was a very well-measured engage there. Knowing he would survive against Rumble was huge.
LGIM playing such a good mental game right now in the baits. They've picked up at least 75% of their kills that way. They only have 4, but it has just been meticulous in the way they are orchestrating their attacks.
Now the counter pick we're coming from the top lane, and MYM Makers needs to make some moves themselves. They finally got Charu up to level 7. He's got Destiny, hasn't used it yet. We'll see if he goes for it. But this game has been LGIM being meticulous, as you said, and meticulous. Yeah, meticulous, as you said,
yes,
and making all the moves. They've been aggressive. They've been finding the kills, and it's been successful for them. MYM Makers needs to turn that back on its head and make some moves themselves.
Just allowing Lilac to get his farm up down in that bottom lane as Rumble tries to push it out. Kuban a little bit behind in this one as Lilac really ready for battle already. The Haunting guy is trying to come out on Rumble, so it will not be the rush for the Warmogs for the first time. We'll see how that affects the battle, especially when we get to these 5v5s, but they do have the Mundo to kind of take up that Warmogs position for him.
Yeah, having a tank is very, very useful. It's very worthwhile there. And here they go on the Libic.
Solar Flare hits almost onto Libic. A great ultimate is going to pop them up, but it looks like Graves Mackler going too deep, trying to find the 1-for-1. A great Dragon's Rage will stop him from being able to do any damage.
There they go. They're going to follow back up. There's Twisted Fate.
Wow. Lasha going in very strong. The Requiem comes down. She wouldn't be able to pick it up there.
I forgot Carlos was even in that game. He was securely in his lane farming with no impact from anyone. There's a root onto Lasha. They might go in.
They are still being very aggressive here. Low health bars are just making everybody so bloodthirsty. Continuing, Mundo tries to get to the tower. Paragon lives with a sliver of health. His ultimate is on. The movement speed is there, and he can take another hit now. There's the Rumble ultimate all the way over the wall to take down Paragon finally. And Karthus is going to come in, but he's not doing any damage almost. Finally taking down Mundo.
That was excellent dodging by Mokate. Actually dodged out every single lay waste. Unfortunately, Defile was there, and Lee Sin was there. They found that for themselves. However, Lilac,
oh man,
he is doing quite well. He's soloing up there in that right-hand side lane. TF is not really going to stop him easily.
He was just about 30 CS, 40 CS behind his own mid. Now he's within 20. That is not going to be good if he can just continue to farm that bottom lane by himself. 10 minutes in, there's really been no dragon aggression. It's a lot of top lane focus, something we usually don't see.
Yeah, it is very interesting that's kind of where all the action is coming from, but
I guess that's what you get when you get the 80 carries up there, right?
Yeah, and it's what happens when you get Leona in there as well. She likes to start fights, likes to go for the aggression, and both teams can easily follow up.
TF porting into mid. No, he's not actually going. Yes, he did teleport it into mid. Lilac, one more turn shot goes out. Oh, it will take him down. 6-4.
And Charu, really good wave through there. Good teleport in time. The ult from Sinjao almost saved his life. Did not, though. Great counterattack there. Now less than 2,000 gold is the lead. So MYM Makers have actually closed the gap over the last 6 minutes or so. So they've been doing very well for themselves here. Charu getting quite a bit of farm. And the one thing to keep in mind for MYM Makers is they get a lot of free gold by having Twisted Fate on their team. And by having these lanes be safe and farm fast, that accelerates them.
And he used the teleport to use the Destiny there. A great job by Ring to get away. He had to use his flash, but he's safe with the red buff.
That was really well executed. He W'd to a minion, got far away, thought he still might be in range of gold card and flashed right after. Good execution there. That's kind of why you're seeing Ring. He's just that good on Lee Sin. He finds the ways to get out of every situation. He's 2-0-3. He's been in 5 of his 6 teams' kills. He's never died.
So for such an aggressive lane, I really thought to see Zyra or Libic go down a little bit more, but they're playing this quite well. It's become one of the 50-50 lanes. Who would you give this lane to? I guess early aggression, Leona, but Zyra also has that crowd control.
Honestly, it's a lane that I feel like is a little bit easier for the Zyra Graves lane because they can tend to beat all-ins with good roots and good sort of disengage from Zyra. Right. But if she ever gets caught twice, oh, sorry about that, Dragon going down, Rumble a little late on the steal there. I think, he was looking for Ring, and Ring
Dodged out with safeguard.
Yeah, safeguarded to a Karthus and got out.
Oh, that top, the ultimate going down from Zyra, but a beautiful solar flare to answer. Good damage there from the Sunlight proc. Can they get it to go down? And still, Libic, knowing he needs to throw abilities out during this fight, is pushing Paragon back. A sliver of health for Libic as he's totally out of the fight now. The wild cards to clean it up, and a collateral damage to say thank you very much.
And Kuban, though, in a bad place. Lilac picks him up, but that was an excellent, excellent fight. And you called it exactly. Libic, knowing he needed to go back into that fight, said, Requiem's happening, but I'm out of range of the rest of your team, so let's go for this one. Put out a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of attention onto him. Great re-engage, and that's the thing, right? If you do not one-shot a support, if she doesn't go down, you've let an AD carry hit you the entire time, and that's what happens when an AD carry hits you the entire time.
Looks like we have Xin. Lilac was going to back there. Oh, he's going to clear the ward. Possibly. They got a ping on it. They know it's there. Oh, he's going for blue. Then he's going to clear the ward. He's just getting all the gold for himself. Graves are turning to top lane. No, he decides not to. So Mackler kind of going the wrong way at first. They have to figure out where they're going to start zoning now, where they're going to start dictating these fights. And who has that fight at this point? 13 minutes into the game, Freak, on the 5-on-5.
Both teams would have the chance to start fights out of pretty much nowhere. They've got the long-range solar flare from Leona. The team can easily follow up on that. Of course, Mid-King on Karthus can always drop the Requiem. Ezreal's got a long-range, global-range ultimate as well, so they can start fights with no problem here, LGIM. On the same side, though, Meet Your Makers has super long range on Rumble's ultimate. They've got Twisted Fate with Destiny, so both teams can look for fights, and it's going to be positioning-based. Because both teams can show up, they've got globals on both sides. You've got to be very careful about who engages, and it's going to be a numbers game. It's going to be who can pick someone out first.
So it looks like we're 14-20 into this game. Both teams have said the laning phase is over as they start to group up in mid. These mid turrets now to be somewhat of a focus. Dragon should be up within a few minutes, and so everybody's down in the middle now. That's going to be a big point of contest.
Yes.
Contention. There we go.
Yes. So, yeah, we got some time in the Dragon, but those 2 mid turrets available are exactly what these teams are looking for. The blue up being taken away back to Mid King, very, very good. This is actually a good window for LGIM. They've taken both blue buffs in recent succession. Lilac still has about a minute and a half on his, so they've got some time here to really make some moves. Chara will have long cooldowns, not a ton of mana overall. They can go aggressive.
They tried to get that extra wall down after Mid King from the dash on Lilac, but you're right. From the beginning, I think Meet Your Makers made a little bit of a mistake. They had the blue buff, they had the timer, but now with both teams getting it, it means they didn't pay attention to that. And it would have been huge to shut down Karthus in middle, because, like I said, he is so blue dependent.
He is. Now, the fact that he has Rod of Ages at this point, and he's got Defile. Now, he actually did, I believe, only 1 point in Wall of Pain and 3 in Defile. So his mana regain is actually quite nice. Here comes the gank on Mid-King.
Oh dear, and if that Rod of Ages hasn't stacked yet, he doesn't have the HP. He may though. Oh, the last attack from the plant says no. And it looks like they push him off with that one. A very nice job. Mid-King quickly getting out of it.
All right, that was a good escape right there. Burned his flash, of course. Still does not have his ultimate available, which gives, honestly, a little bit of room for Meet Your Makers to make some moves. But they're letting Rumble stay top lanes. They don't have the numbers to actually push right now. And here comes Xin Zhao.
A great engagement right into the Zyra. It pops them up, and they will be fighting under this turret. It has quite a bit of health. A double kill from Karthus as the ultimate does come up. And it looks like they're going to continue to push back here. They feel like they have a bit of aggression. Kuban completely missing it all on somebody that's already gone.
That is unfortunate. Good escape there by Lee Sin at the very end there. That Rumble ult could have enabled a re-engage by Charu. Unfortunately, could not quite get that.
So a quick back and forth between both teams. Leave them in mid, poised for what looks like a quick engagement and in and out. They want to get that low health. They want to find out who has it. But that's the trick about Lee Sin. He wants to take that damage. We've already seen how good Ring is at baiting these fights in. There's the Q. He may even go in since he passed the turret, but no, there's Twisted Fate in his eye. And they are going to back off of this.
That was a nice attempt by Kuban, though. If they went in on him, whoever went in would have gotten gold carded,
right.
Possibly taken turret aggro if they didn't kill the turret in time, and they would have had some decent comeback damage. Either way, that turret is theirs. Now 2-1. It's actually one of the more sort of slower turret kill games because both teams are actually defending them quite well.
Let's take stock of the game here. Just past 16 minutes as we hit our 17-minute mark. 9-7. Just about a 2,000 gold lead. 2,500 gold in favor of LGIM, but it's been anybody's match so far. The fights are going for both teams, and the items really haven't been completed yet anywhere. The AD carries have their Bloodthirsters, and there is that Rod of Ages on Karthus, so you can kind of give that advantage because of that gold right now to LGIM.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. We got Kuban, unfortunately forced to actually farm in his own jungle.
Right.
Looking like a magic penetration build in front of him, haunting it's either a it's kind of weird because he has different pieces of different things, right? Like he could be going into a Riley's Crystal Scepter, he could be going into Haunting Guys, he could be going into Warmogs or something.
Boom.
He is going to be Haunting Guys. Riley's likely to follow up after that. So unlike the semifinal we just saw, it's a much more damage-based Rumble here. Looking for Haunting Guys, he's going to look for Leandri's Torment as well, and he's going to be really burning things down, and it's going to be up to LGIM to kill him quickly. The difficult thing is there's a lot of things that are putting out very consistent damage. Dr. Mundo, good consistent damage. Twisted Fate having a decent game here, actually. He's going to have good damage as well, and actually picking up Home Guard, so you can always Home Guard, ult in from the fountain and get to battles rather quickly. And, of course, Graves, he's having a pretty good game for himself. Look at his gold right there, 5,800. Not too bad. He's going to be a damage source, too.
So Lilac expending Graves' cleanse down bottom. If the Dragon's about to come up, it is getting somewhat pinged. This would be a very dangerous fight to come in with all the crowd control of LGIM onto Meet Your Makers. We can see Graves actually not even trying to get engaged in this fight, and they go on to Libic. Libic, oh, he's getting caught out from the beginning. He gets himself out, though. That is going to be the perfect re-engagement if they choose to. So many abilities wasted. The teleport in. It's going to be Destiny still up, but he gets absolutely obliterated. The Wall of Pain shreds the magic resistance, and they just plow through the jungle of Meet Your Makers to get another kill, possibly. Lee Sin connects with a Q. The resonating strike to follow. It's going to be the three-talon strike to pick up the kill, and they finalize the ace all the way across the map.
What a beautiful fight there by LGIM. Completely perfect engagement. And the difficulty there was that both Xin Zhao and Leona were incredibly tanky. So the counterattack damage, the Rumble ult, the Zyra ult, it didn't actually do that much. And then with the two biggest teamfight ults down, LGIM had said, great, we have a free chance to fight this one. They popped the Carlos ult, got the early kill, of course. Everyone else low on health. Easy re-engage there. Life's good for Incredible Miracle.
Life is good for Incredible Miracle. Fancy puns, freak. I'll sign up for some lessons too with Jason.
Okay.
Cool. So the wards still remember to be placed. You know, there are a lot of people that come up here, a lot of the Brazilian summoners, the Invocadores, saying, guys, we played well, but we're not in the tournament anymore. How can you still say we played well? And it's really minor mistakes that were made. And coming into these games, there's still being mistakes made by these teams. LGIM got beat by Cade. So we have to see that, you know, they have done very well for themselves to come into this tournament and see these teams that can still beat international.
And right here, basically, it really can be anyone's game. You're only seeing a 6,000 gold difference. A really awesome engage by LGIM, but these fights can still go any way. There's a lot of damage still available on Meet Your Makers, a lot of beef as well. Dr. Mundo very close. Actually, he's got enough money for the Warmogs at this point, so he's going to be a giant frontline meat shield. And what's going to really matter for Meet Your Makers is how well they can survive the sort of front-end burst. Most of LGIM is very front-end focused, and then it's like, okay, how well can Karthus and Ezreal sort of clean up there? And that's going to be kind of the major factors. They've got amazingly good engage, really strong burst, and then 80% as strong sort of persistent damage as they have burst, and we'll see how that pans out.
And it looks like we got the cards going down bottom. A quick jump onto Lasha here. Going to take quite a bit of damage. He'll go down eventually. Libic doesn't want to take it. He's just kind of walking around. He does have the assist on it already, and it's going to be that bottom lane push right now. Charu is going to be backing. His teleport is not up, but his team says we have a good aggression here. We have vision of Lilac in middle, so we'll have to see how this push goes and if they will decide to back.
Okay, so right now, actually, Meet Your Makers, that was the kind of the things they needed to do there, was to make moves. That is what Twisted Fate is good at. As long as you're not stupidly far behind, you can always go for that teleport, try to force a kill, and just turn a game around. They've built themselves a 5-on-4, and they are just forcing this turret, getting it down to about half health, but that is what you need to do to get back in, is find those openings and put some damage output.
Great damage from Ring, knowing there's no crowd control there as Grasping Root was used. Libic getting hit up again. He just knows the crowd control is not there. Look how confidently aggressive Ring is right now, starting a fight by himself. They could turn around and burst him, but they know he'll find a way to get out. And here comes Lilac, who was pushing middle. A Zyra ultimate is going to miss. A beautiful disengage and re-engage here from LGIM.
And Lilac just way too tanky to care at all. That's a beautiful engage right there. And Ring just recklessly chasing Meet Your Makers, saying, I dare you to fight me, I dare you to fight me. Xin Zhao's coming. Great pull from LJM to pull that guy over. And this is the one thing I've actually seen from these Koreans so much now, is that they're able to win really long battles. Xin Zhao comes up late, they're able to chase people down, things like that. A fight starts, and then 20 seconds later, people on Meet Your Makers are just dead because they're able to just sit there. As MYM tries to run, they're not able to run.
It looks like we're going to have top lane being pushed back out by Ring. He is doing some fantastic things for his team, if not grabbing kills, getting the impact plays. Lilac getting caught out now. He may have a chance to get out of this one, but the gold cards may be too much. No, the Solar Flare coming out. They try to turn around and burst. Great job by Leona picking up that kill. Actually, it was going to be Xin who still picked it up at the end.
I think Lizard Buff ticked over the sunlight damage, something like that. Good pickup either way. Good pickup. So, all right. LGIM, they've been trading kills back and forth now, of course. A lot of aggression, and Charu actually has Summoner Teleport up by the time he revives, so he is still going to be all over the map all the time, over and over and over. And I think it really is on Meet Your Makers to find opportunities here, because the more I look at LGIM, seeing a more damage-oriented build actually from Sinjao, Sunfire Cape, Hexbreaker, he actually also has persistent damage. So I love LGIM's comp as a team fight composition. They have, I think, really all their bases covered. Good initiation, good burst, good crowd control, and good persistent damage, as well as good durability. So they've got kind of all bases covered. LGM did a very good job in champion select. Meet Your Makers, though, has their ace in the hole being basically Rumble and Twisted Fate. They can participate in fights very, very, very easily, and if they can stretch the game out like you're seeing here, right? You see Twisted Fate at the bottom, Rumble at the top, trying to stretch these fights out and make these 3-on-2s, make these 2-on-1s. That's where their advantage is going to come from.
Meet Your Makers just trying to clean up the rest of the camps in the jungle. You can see them spread out in somewhat of a line of scrimmage just down the river there as Zyra goes to support Zaru in that bottom lane. They do have some aggression there. They have the teleports, but with Zyra down there, Baron could be very tempting. There is a Madrid's on Lee Sin. They have some good objective damage coming in there, as well as Karthus. If he can get that blue buff, they'll be able to shred that Baron. But right now, the focus is put on mid. They know they can pull Zyra and TF just back to mid and start to dictate a little bit of the game for him.
And here they go. They're going to try to find mid king. The wall of pain is down, but here comes the engage.
A very nice collateral damage. Just way too much front end burst coming from Graves. They're going to dodge out on that Zyra ultimate. It was only for really Ring. And it looks like they start to back off. Rumble's having some fun with Lasha top. A very nice safeguard as Lasha puts himself back in the fight. I think that was the opposite thing that Ring wanted to happen.
I think he was trying to save his teammate. He tried to also go back. Oh! Almost got back in on Kuba. Yeah, everyone said the same noise. Ooh! Right there. That is a sound, by the way. Like, you know when something whizzes past your ear and you kind of feel the wind? That is actually Pulsefire Ezreal's ultimate near a champion. Just goes, ooh! Looks like there's ghosts nearby.
This is mid lane being pushed. Remembering to ward, as we've seen this at the end of Season 2, the beginning of Season 3, the lane wards just smack dab in the middle to give that enemy positioning an entry into their own jungle if they want to come out for those objectives. You have a better idea. 41,000 to 35,600. These guys are not too far away from gold. We've seen bigger deficits come back. 17 to 11 on the kills at 25 minutes in here, and it's 5 to 3. Freak, looking at this individual gold, we got a few 9,000s on one side, but that 10,000 for Ezreal is going to be coming up big. Like we said before, True Shot Barrage can be an almost 1,000 damage nuke near end game.
And that is huge because he's probably the safest champion on this map right now. And when the safest champion has the most gold, he can kind of carry LGIM out of pretty much anything. Even if Meet Your Maker starts winning a bunch of fights, Paragon probably will not go down unless something catastrophic happens to him. And he's going to put out a whole crap ton of damage overall. So it's going to be, I think, very difficult for them to deal with him. And if I'm reading his items right, he's building towards a Trinity Force here. So he's going to be putting out good crowd control, good burst damage, some extra movement speed on top of the static shift he already has. It's going to be very hard for him to deal with this guy.
Now, how do you feel about the reason for engagement from Libic here on the Boots of Mobility?
Well, Boots of Mobility, I think it works really, really well, basically, because we've seen supports do that for a couple of years now. It helps them sweep with wards. It helps them get around the map. Honestly, since he is the least safe champion on this lineup, him having the mobility to be like, I see you, Leona, and being able to run away, dodge the E, things like that, that's really vital for him. Generally speaking, like, Libic is going to be away from his team a lot and needs to get back into those battles over and over because he's going to be out there warding.
Mundo looking to be going for the Randuins next. They're just trying to shut down the dive-in attack damage, and that has to be the second best item they could have built besides the League of Warmogs right now, because it is all based. Lee Sin, Lilac on Xin Zhao, and you have Paragon, who probably won't get hit too much by that Randuins, but that attack damage is going to be obliterated when they get into the fight.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with. So basically looking at what's being built at right here. You know, we've got Charu at the bottom. and he's doing quite well for himself. He's very, very close to Lichbane here. His gold, 470. He's about 500 gold away from Lichbane being completed. I actually hit the right button to show him. There's Charu. He's having a very, very good game. 3-3-6, and this is actually why you've seen Twisted Fate banned against Meet Your Maker so much, is he has made, I think, 3 times in a row impact plays. Like, absolutely impact plays. The reason this game is even close right now is because Twisted Fate has just made things happen on this map and just done bad things to LGIM. And he's kind of MVP for me right now.
A super amount of burst coming in here for Graves. He does pick up that Infinity Edge. We already saw him unload that front end burst onto Mid King last time, and he was not able to withstand it. Coming in here onto the Baron is going to be Kuban on the side. Kind of puts a lackluster Harpoon in there. I don't think that would have hit anybody, even if they were near the wall. Coming in from the bottom side, TF to get the teleport in here, but he's going to match with his team. No, he just throws on Destiny so his team can see, because he still has the teleport up. They place the ward. The Wall of Pain goes down. A beautiful job, because that's going to section off the fight very nicely. Zyra's ultimate almost useless in its use, and it looks like they will be able to re-engage here. The exhaust going down onto Zaru, and he falls. Too much health for Lilac. He's just able to walk in and out of the health drinker, or Hex drinker rather. Keeps him healthy is what I wanted to say. Libic looks to go down. Libic doing that just to keep the rest of these guys alive, but it may not happen.
The Zyra passive killed Karthus before he could ult.
Wow, an amazing stop of damage there, and it looks like they are all able to get it out. Good call, Freak.
Mackler lived because Zyra died. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get over that. That's awesome. But the thing is, LGIM still has a 4-on-2. This is their inhibitor.
Pushing through here, LGIM so confident in their fights, and they have been from minute 1, Freak. We saw the way Ring was playing, a level 1 red elixir dive from Lilac in a 2v1 situation to pick up first blood, even though, like you said, he kind of gave up a little more gold. Didn't mind. He's still plowing through this. 6-4-9 to a 1-6-2 rumble, and he's also about 40 CS ahead.
And that is just huge for him. I mean, he's been doing very, very well all game. He was most of his team's deaths early on. I think he was 3 of his team's 4 deaths at the beginning, but he's had a very good game for himself. I mean, he is that frontline initiator. His job is to take a lot of punishment, and he's on his 2nd giant felt now. So he is just getting beefier and beefier and beefier. The Xin Zhao is going to make life very difficult for Meet Your Makers. They've been very good at starting fights.
This time it's MYM to start the fight. They do have a good amount of tank in there. They will be able to take the damage. We've seen a lot of Baron steals this tournament, ladies and gentlemen. It could be another one here, but Ring's taking quite a bit of damage. Won't get stolen by True Shot. Does not look like they'll pick it up anyways. And here comes the engagement. A beautiful equalizer. Kind of shuts down any initiation Lilac wants there. Freaky just said he's going to be the first one in. You can see him just grinding through the slow, trying to get that initiation. TF is going to quickly go bottom lane and start to give them something else to think about.
That was absolutely perfect play by Meet Your Makers. They saw LGIM had kind of bitten off a bit more than they could chew, recalled back, didn't have the movement speed to get in range, and the way they dealt with Ring, the way they stopped Lee Sin from getting in there to attempt the steal was absolutely perfect. They landed so much crowd control. The smoke bomb from Graves helped deny vision. The root coming out from Zyra, absolutely amazing. And then, on the top of that, they knew everyone was coming in right from here, and the equalizer right on this line stops any chance at all for an engage to come back from LGIM. Beautiful turnaround there. 5,000 gold game. Meet Your Makers putting on quite the show.
Let's look at some finished items here, Freak. It's a very scary looking Karthus. It hasn't really been playing a zombie Karthus role, more for defense of that line when TF comes in, throwing down that wall of pain. See if he has started to give that some levels, and he has. It's actually it's his
level
still
17,
least one.
so
Yep.
pretty much got all he needs. Yeah, so he's a really big factor, though. Buying the Zonia is really smart because he's been twice now kind of found by Twisted Fate and been like, oh, that sucks. Let me go ahead and do something different here. So the Zonia's grab, really good for him. Void Staff would be more damage, but he's choosing to go for durability here, which is something I kind of got to respect here, because that's kind of the motif here of LGIM is we'll tank through you, and then Xin Zhao, Karthus, and Ezreal will kill you off in the end.
As they move down, looks like for what will be a dragon attempt. Libic just missing on that. And they will begin this, just shredding it down. It's not even going to be a problem. It's not something that LGIM should be worried about too much. They're still up 3,000 gold. It's 20-12 in kills. But that Baron is definitely going to make a formidable Meet Your Makers. So I'd say in the fight, when they hit it up, it's going to be even gold.
I kind of agree that basically with Baron buff here, they're in really, really good shape. I think their actual power on the map, they've shown themselves sort of, I think multiple times in a row, as kind of the stronger team fighters. I mean, that sounds weird when they're down 8 kills,
yeah.
But just the feeling I'm getting from this game is Meet Your Makers feeling like they're ahead, which I am having a kind of a hard time understanding why exactly, but that's what the game is feeling like here. MYM are generally doing better right now.
They're definitely closing the gap, especially it was so big in the beginning, about 6,000 gold before, brought down to about 3,000 now, almost about 4,000. 6-3 in turrets, so the objectives are still keeping LGIM on here. I guess that's where they've gotten the gold from. It's just what they needed. 8 kills onto Ezreal, of course, is going to make you pretty rich. 12,000 gold to himself. He's only 300 gold above Graves, and that used to be about 1,000 gold. So now that the 80 carries are coming a lot closer, we were saying one of the safest champions on the map is the richest. That's almost not the case anymore.
Oh, certainly, and that's going to be kind of, I think, where the fights sort of revolve around is how good is Ezreal's target selection going to be? How many people is he going to be able to kill? How much damage is he going to put out? It's going to be a lot, but the thing to worry about is there is a very tanky front line. If Dr. Mundo gets on his face, he can block Mystic Shot, which is a significant part of Paragon's damage output. And so, you know, one of the big interactions here is going to be Ezreal, Paragon, and Mokate on Dr. Mundo. If Mundo can soak up all of Ezreal's damage with that Randuin's, I don't really know where LGIM's teamfight power is going to come from here.
You can see them pinging on to Mokate. They're saying, we kind of want to get an engage here, or at least put some wards down. You can see him going a little aggressive in the jungle. A lot of pings going down for Meteor Makers. They look to be doing somewhat of a pinch here, but now that they are seen, the Wall of Pain that makes them back off. Mundo going to go top lane? No, he's going to swing around here. All just placing the wards down. So Vision being grabbed. No objectives on the map. The Vision is just really for that next pickoff that somebody's going to make a mistake on.
Exactly. And when you got a Twisted Fate on your team, he's going to look for pickoffs so much. And you can kind of see the LGIM, aside from Lilac, are sticking very close together so that they can react to that teleport, show up in time, keep themselves alive. I got to admire the sort of bravery here from Twisted Fate because, well, suddenly here comes a 5-man push. He either split pushes or goes back right now. It's going to be a very interesting situation.
They are going on this quite strong. It looks like the bottom is being pushed still by Xaru, always waiting for his destiny to be up, and he is going to be teleporting back to home base here. He's going to that bottom turret, inhibitor turret, grasping root onto Lilac, but we've seen Lilac completely just tank turrets and not really care about a situation, and that's where they're wasting their cooldowns. Yeah, you want to do some deterrent damage and you want to get them off of that, but you got to be careful who that's going to, because a lot of times you'll see things like Tab saying, oh, there's an Anivia wall, let's dive in.
Yeah, and that was actually a really good wall of pain at the end there as well. It really stopped Meteor Makers from being able to engage past them. Most of these guys have to walk forward to kind of do their fighting.
Yep.
And when you fight off a giant crowd control team who can wall of pain you, and then when you do finally come in, Sin John knocks you back, at least Sin can knock you back, Leona can stun you up. Not a good place for them.
A lot of aggression onto this turret, quickly taking it down to half health. Ezreal well within range to just put damage on that turret, and there he goes, the focus straight onto it. The yellow card coming out as they just continue to get damage. Another style build for Paragon, likes to go for that static shiv, as we pointed out before. Some of the carries doing that as well to add an ability or something to your kit that you don't have, that wave push. But really, these guys are just going 5-on-5, and their siege ability is incredible right now.
And the thing is, MYM right here, even without Baron buff anymore, can pick a fight. I was actually, you saw Dr. Mundo play very, very close up, and I almost thought he was going to go for a dive, your pop his ult, try to face check someone, maybe a flash stun card from Twisted Fate, but they're being still very defensive here, Meteor Makers. They've got time before Baron respawns, about a minute and a half, but they've got basically 3 minutes until their inhibitors back, which is going to be a risky proposition when Baron comes back up, because they're going to be a little bit low on map control. I'm not sure how MYM's going to react to this when that becomes the next major objective.
That was really great mind game by LGIM. They saw the Destiny go down. They were backing and figured that the Meteor Makers would leave that turret alone. So they just went in, face tanked it, picking up another one now, 7-3. They're all down to the inhibitor turrets on Meteor Maker's side for their first game here in our second matchup of the day.
And Charu's back on split push duty. That ultimate's going to be back in 56 seconds right here. Running back to the bottom lane. Now, there's no major objectives up, I don't think, before he's going to have Destiny available. The difficulty becomes, well, he's got no vision of this bottom half of the map. He doesn't know if he's going to get ganked out of nowhere.
They actually don't have vision of the top of the map as well, so they can't see that they're going to hide till Baron until now. So, does he stay? Does he go back?
There's Baron. Yeah, sorry.
No, Baron does come up, but he does stay. He stays in the bottom lane. They know they may lose this. The teleport is down. His Destiny is down. A perfect window for LGIM to do this, and I'm sure they have considered it. It's going to be very low. A great ultimate on the backside of Baron Den is going to push them into the fight, actually. but they keep themselves out of it. It wears off. Lilac throwing himself into the middle, and they're going to be right onto Graves. This is what Mokate wants to do to Paragon. They are just able to shut down that 80 carry one more time on him again. They just continuously punish him. The Zonia is going down from Mid King, and a beautiful engagement from Meet Your Makers. LGIM says, nuh-uh, we're bringing this one back in our favor. Double kill coming up for Karthus.
That was really good for him, but Twisted Fate has gotten at least one turret, and they did stop Baron. So, actually, sorry, 3 kills. Yeah, that is pretty harsh, but, you know, I think that was the best play that MYM had available, honestly. I don't think there was much else they could have done there. And so, oh, wow, nice move by Twisted Fate. Actually popped Destiny to get out of range of anyone counterattacking, and then recalled back. Just had to make sure he wasn't going to get picked off. Smart move by him. But basically, that was the best thing Meet Your Makers could have done. LGIM did a very, very good job of rushing down the Baron. I think it was a little bit sloppy by TF to run bot without any teleports when they should have had Baron timed. But as far as losing 3 and getting a turret, that's probably the best outcome they could hope for instead of losing Baron.
So Jaru, we just saw him use that Destiny, but I think he's timing it. It should come up at the same time teleport as well, but they're going to have to go in right now. No more vision after that ward is down. Zaru coming in with no wards for himself. He can only listen to the cards that he throws, but he doesn't even decide to do that. The Wall of Pain for vision, the Baron for LGIM, the card. Ooh, very close, very close.
That was amazing intuition. He timed that purely by guessing.
Yep.
That was pretty excellent.
I mean, even if the wall kind of gave him like, hey, they threw a wall down to see because it's going down, he still guessed that almost perfect.
Yeah, no matter what happened, that was pretty freaking awesome. But LJM still, with the Baron, they had map control. Everyone else from MYM had been forced back to their base, defending super minions, and that's kind of what happens, man. You got super minions diving in the mid lane. Someone has to deal with them at some point, and that gives you the map control for Baron. So that was the very intelligent second step there for Incredible Miracle. Take the inhibitor down. When Baron comes back up, we should be able to get Baron safely, and they did.
Looks like Mackler comes down to pick up Dragon with Libic. Rumble continues to push bottom lane. Still, you were right, went for the Rylas, not the Warmogs. The Warmogs being built by Mundo with that Randuin's Omen, as we said before, to just shred the attack speed of Lilac and Ring as they get into these fights. But so many completed items on both teams. And actually, wow, Zin building the Thornmail for Graves.
He is basically trying to he's trying to jump onto Graves and just deal with him. Thornmail has the most armor per slot in the game. That is the biggest armor item you can buy with a flat 100 right there. And he's going to go all in. He's going to be beefy in the front. He's got a lot of health. He just wants to tank that out.
Oh, so much free damage, and he knows he is reading Libic so much to go in and dodge all of these grasping roots every time.
It's very, very good play right there. That's going to be a difficulty because Meet Your Makers has pretty good catch. If Gold Card lands, even if like a Cleaver lands, if some kind of crowd control does land for Meet Your Makers, they can follow up pretty successfully, and it could be very dangerous for most people on LGIM if they get caught.
They're right on top of that inhibitor. They were able to drop it before. Great job by Paragon keeping that focus mentality on getting the objective as his team is able to just roam around here. The Wall of Pain really separating that AD carry from the fight. They're going to be able to drop this here. No initiation coming in from Meet Your Makers. That's not good when you're forced to watch something like that.
Nope, not at all. But here we see a nice little move right there. They're actually in Fog of War right across. Okay, now they get revealed. They were right across the wall. They're looking for a chance
sneaky
to
sneak.
Yeah.
TEF teleporting top here, and it looks like they're going to get the top lane pushed down. Very smart move. These calls from Jaru coming in here are going to help his team a bit, but he's going to back instantly.
Yeah, he's trying to set up the minions to push, but
right.
He knows that being a sort of a 5-on-4, they'd lose their base. Otherwise, he has to come back here. He's going to be there in time now.
Turret taking a little bit of damage. Lilac just sitting in the middle of everything. Ezreal ulti goes through. A very nice equalizer rather coming from Rumble, and it's going to be Lilac going down first, and that's a first for him. They are able to pull out of this fight, only losing him, but Meet Your Makers could have gained a little ground there.
They could go for this one. They could absolutely. It's a risky move, but yeah, okay, they're not going to. But yeah, LGIM was very smart that they stuck together as 4. No matter who TF went for, they would have collapsed on him in time and forced that kill down. But very good kiting by Meet Your Makers, a good Rumble ultimate, good disengage by Mockler, cleanse, and the quick draw used to get out of there, and then they got the damage down. That was a very nice one.
This game becoming closer and closer in gold as we move on. Exactly 2,000 separate these teams, as obviously Meet Your Makers makes 300 gold as I say that. 7-4 in turrets, so there's a little bit of objective gold there. and map control. As we can see, just the top and bottom inhibitor turrets stand. 2 more second-tier turrets in the mid and top lane for LGIM. At 42 minutes into this one, we're getting to, some of our longest matches of the week, as we have just seen some of our fastest as well. So these teams are playing very cautious right now. They consider each other very powerful and respectfully.
Absolutely, and I really got to point out, you mentioned the gold difference last time. This gold is 1,000 away, despite being down 3 turrets, down in dragons. They're down a Baron, they're down 10 kills, and yet their gold is there. And that's because of Charo for 2 reasons. One, 410 minion kills, kind of a lot. He's almost done getting items. Deathfire Grass, the last thing he can buy here, unless he sells boots, which I don't think is going to happen. But also that Twisted Fate passive, as games go on, you get more and more minion kills. I mean, count everyone's minion kills, multiply by 2. They've all gotten that much bonus build from the TF passive.
That's, yeah. Love having that TF, love having the loaded dice, all the extra gold. Everybody clearing the waves now. Is there kind of a lull here at 43 minutes? It's something you find when you have that 5-on-5, almost full item engagement. Everybody is at their peak form right now. Every spell that's going to come out needs to hit perfectly, and if it doesn't, it's going to mean bad things. We've seen Kuban use the ultimate at Baron that was used perfectly. Well, they still didn't have Baron taken down, but they were able to still capitalize on being in a terrible ultimate. So Kuban still has to hit even better ultimates. LGIM is playing very well right now. Lilac and Ring are coming up so big.
And that's going to be, very difficult because you've got 2 big tanky guys coming up big. You've got 2 giant meat walls who are going to put out really good damages and a lot of displacement, and they're performing excellently. It's going to be hard for you to deal with them.
A little bit of a siege on the bottom turret. This seems the one they want to focus on while Baron is down. They can go to that top one and have a little bit more map control, but they want to dictate the fight at this bottom inhibitor. They want to take it down. Their mid lane actually is not pushed up quite that much, so nobody has to go to middle. MYM has a pretty good defense here. They should be able to clear this. Oh, wow. Paragon taking a lot of damage. Collateral almost taking him out, but the Warmog's keeping him alive. This could be a re-engage here, Freak. It's going to be a cleaver that hits. Another good ultimate there, forcing the Arcane Shift away. Will they decide to keep going in? Lilac goes in, spreading the entire team, but there's not much focus for anybody yet. Looks like Lilac will be the one to go down. A Solar Flare used a bit too late as Karthus goes for zombie style. He will go down. The ultimate will be coming up. We're going to see Libic go down here. Kuban will not fall, but he may tune out by Ring. Ring comes in for the extra engagement. He has help from Mackler, so Ring is forced to back off.
Wow, what a great engagement by Meet Your Makers, and the catch on the Ezreal was where that all came from. He had to burn Flash to get away from the Equalizer, still died to area of effect damage. MYM, a beautiful fight right there. And Baron's not that far away. I'm looking for the timer, I'm actually not quite sure right away. But basically their inhibitor's going to come back up. They're now winning in gold for what I think is like the first time this game, basically, by any real margin. And they've been winning every fight in a row, basically.
Yeah, I think there's about 2 minutes, 20 seconds until we actually...
Okay.
Actually, no, 20 seconds until we see that Baron spawn. Do the math, it was 38-53. So we'll have to see if they are pushing into this. Yes, they are driving in
forcefully.
They
have time to do it, actually. They really could, while Ezreal and Xin Zhao are in base. If they went for it right now, they'd get it just in time.
And it looks like they will start it. Graves is going to be the first one there. 2-2. They have the tanks in now. Graves with that Infinity Edge is going to be able to shred this down. Graves actually buys a Randuin as well. Awesome pick up there. Looks like Ring trying to do what he can, but he's just locked down once again. They play this one perfectly, Freak. They pick up the kill, and this time they should be able to pick up the Baron. Almost taken there. It does go to Mundo's Smite. The reinitiation. Mim looks very good on this. The Solar Flare does not hit anybody for the full stun. And Mukate is able to take a good amount of cooldowns. Here comes the Destiny. Will he grab the gold card? The Defile is on, so they're going to have to walk through this one. His Zonias should be up. He does use it. Zaru will still fall, though. Very good job by Paragon, keeping himself in the fight with such low health. He has that double buff on him. He is going to be able to take Libic out here, and the Mystic Shot hits for the double kill. It looks like the fight is finally over.
That was nice engages right there at the end by Mid King and Paragon. Libic, a little too aggressive there, to be completely honest, but nice attempt, of course. But now you've got the situation where Meet Your Makers, again, another team fight win in a row. 3 for 2 that one. Even with those 2 cleanup kills at the end, still 3 for 2 in their favor. Good job getting rid of Ring right there, just layering that crowd control, keeping him from moving and burning him down. And now, of course, they've got Baron Nashor. Their middle inhibitor is back. They can start making some moves.
Freak, I think this is the most gold we have seen in a game this weekend. 7-4 is the turrets, 26-20 is the kills, and I don't think it's ever been closer at this point in the game as well. We're creeping up to the longest match, and these guys are just playing 100% on both sides. Like I said, that ultimate from Kuban has to be better than good last time, and we saw it force Ezreal's flash as we go back a few minutes and just talk about the fights that have happened leading up to a momentum build here that, although 26-20, is starting to put LGIM on their heels, very much so.
Yep, and it surprised me too, because I had pegged LGIM's team as a team fight team.
Yeah.
They are very good at 5-on-5s. They engage off of Leona. They put a lot of damage down. They've got great damage dealers in Fed Ezreal. They've got a Karthus. Like, this team should be amazing in 5-on-5s, and Meet Your Makers are just finding those opportunities. They caught Ezreal on the right-hand side and just removed him from the battle, basically. And then they said, great, we have a numbers advantage, and just kind of drove down there, picking up kill after kill after kill after kill. And before they respawned, said, great, now we can Baron. Ring came to stop Baron. They focused him down, crowd controlled him, killed him off, turned the fight around from there, 3 for 2. Over and over, Meet Your Makers are finding these not 5-on-5 fights.
Yep.
They're finding these 5-on-1s to start, getting that guy low or dead, and then moving up from there.
There's a lot of percent health damage. You got
Yes.
2 Leandries on that side of Meet Your Makers versus the Sunfire Caves Warmogs being built up on the other side as well. There's actually 3 Warmogs just for that to burn against. So they are really itemizing against very hard. Although the Thornmails, you could say the same thing for LGIM.
But the difficulty is that the damage at this point isn't all coming from Graves.
Right.
The entire game, Kuban has been itemizing magic damage. He's got Sorcerer's Shoes. His first items were Haunting Guise, Leandri's Torment, and Riley's Crystal Scepter. They're itemizing so much against Graves. The only MR item they have up until recently was like the Runic Bulwark. They finally got Abyssal Scepter. They finally got Quicksilver Sash. They finally got another Negatron Cloak there on Ring. But like, look at a Lilac. He's got a Hexdrinker and Mercury Treads. Where is your magic resist? You've got to be able to withstand the damage coming out from Twisted Fate, the damage coming out from Rumble, and they aren't.
Very true. Only a few people benefiting from that Bulwark with such a gap-closing dive team here. So once they are under the turrets, we'll have to see if it fares in their favor a little bit more. 50 minutes into this game. Second matchup of the day in our best of 3 here at the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. We've seen a lot of great play this weekend. First time seeing Mundo here, first time seeing Leona. These teams have definitely been able to bring out some special stuff.
Yes, and the funny thing is that Dr. Mundo is regenerating health so incredibly quickly that he'll just sit there and tank a turret as Graves puts some damage on the back door. And he'll just run around, make sure he doesn't get hit by skill shots, and then he's back to full health. I mean, he's tanking turrets and then healing up and tanking them again and doesn't really care.
So, Freak, this has to be scary. Going through Champion Select, or for LGIM, I should say, going through Champion Select, we kind of poked back and forth, and you said these guys have pretty much chosen their comfort characters for themselves. There was hardly any swapping done with that. Lilac grabbed Xin, Ring grabbed Lee Sin. But with their comfort champions, they're seemingly to be thrown out of that comfort zone here.
And I don't quite know what it is, except for that Meet Your Makers are just making moves that, throughout the entire mid-game. Twisted Fate was forcing just bad things to happen to the other team. He just kept finding kills where kills didn't exist for any other champion in the game. It was Twisted Fate and just Twisted Fate that said, aha, no, Leona, you're going to die in what you thought was a 1 versus 1 under your own turret. It's actually a 1 versus 3, and now you're dead. Finding Mid-King in the mid lane and killing him off and starting out, I think, like a 3-for-1 battle off of that. They just found those engagements over and over and over again, got themselves a 6,000 gold lead here, and now they don't even need that so much anymore. They can kind of just mash heads together and probably come out ahead.
Zaru 21 minions away from 500 on his minion score. He actually doesn't need CS anymore, but he is being a huge push factor. He has used his teleport and that Destiny. I think Destiny can come up like 3 or 4 times within the time of a teleport, but he is using it all over the map to farm, to push, not to engage, not to see where they are. I mean, the last time he used it, he just went to his own blue buff, and you can see how they kind of scatter, but really, he doesn't want anything to do with them.
Now, instead, though, he's just constantly using Destiny to spot out LGIM, make sure no one's getting any flanks on, and then he doesn't really go anywhere with it. He just kind of uses it and then says, hey, my ult's down, you should totally try to engage. Yeah. And he just summoner teleports back into battles. He's very interesting with how he's using his ultimate here. I've not really seen anything quite like it, but he's using it for more map vision than anything else most of this game. And he's got, I want to say, yeah, he's got max cooldown reduction because he's got 15% from that Deathfire Grass, 10% from the Blue Elixir, and he's just all over the place. And of course, also 15 from his E.
So they're about 30 seconds early on Baron. They got to be careful here. They were trying to just probably draw out the bait, but I think both teams have the timer at this point. 26-20, a lull in kills, but not in action. They have still been in each other's faces, is what I wanted to say. 83,000 gold to 76,000 gold. Now quite a demanding lead being pulled into Meet Your Maker's side. 53 minutes into this game. Again, at this middle turret, and they've really only touched it a few times, but there's, you said, 21 health per tick coming onto Mundo. You can just see it coming off of him. It's not even hurting.
Nope, he's not going to care whatsoever. Got even more health regeneration. Picked up a Spirit Visage now as well. And there we go, the 6th turret. Ironically enough, LGIM are still winning in turrets. They've killed an inhibitor twice. They haven't, I mean, there's been barely any headway into Incredible Miracle's base. And yet it just feels like now all the cards are in MYM's deck.
And this could be a game-changing move here, Freak. There are no second-tier turrets on the map, and at this point, at 18 minutes, that Death Chamber time does give the team enough time to advance through your entire base. The inhibitor is up for Meet Your Makers. This is their best chance to fight against this Baron. They cannot lose this opportunity.
Yeah, right here is going to be a very important fight. I expect Baron to be the focus much more so than turrets right now, because it's kind of easier to turn off a Baron when you're Dr. Mundo than to turn off of a turret at this point. So Meet Your Makers, right, I'm trying to look for an Oracles here. They've got one on Twisted Fate, of course, because he's richer than Donald Trump at this point. You know, I think he's done very well gambling for himself. He's made his millions, and now he just buys potions all over the place.
They are starting to poke at this Baron, just clearing out the wards, allowing Lasha to do his work with that Oracle. The Seed is going to be able to stop that. I like the attack on the Baron there. It is going to do some damage, but so tanky. Ring and Lilac more than happy to stand in that Baron damage as they continue to take it down just on the outside. The Equalizer again to push them out of the Baron den, but that's the one that didn't work as well last time. A great kick. Shredded is Jaru. He's forced to use the Zonias quite early in the fight. Everybody is. King still has his, but he goes down. The Requiem is still there for use, and we may see that come down. Does not look like Mackler will stay alive. He tries to auto attack to get his health back. It's going to be Mundo and Libic on the run now. Libic in the eyes, the arcane shift. He got the grasping root. That was very nice, but it just wasn't enough. And you can see Lilac so determined to find where Mundo went, but actually he's going to go for the inhibitor by himself as Mundo backs.
Well, they've got what could be really a 4-on-1 right here, and Dr. Mundo not exactly the best defenseman in this game, so this really could be LGIM closing the game out and killing the Nexus right here. We'll see if they can do it.
He does have a lot of health. His ultimate is down, but on a very quick cooldown. He's probably looking at about 30 more seconds on that. Actually, about 15 to 20 seconds on that. So he can stay in here and take a bit of damage. He does have those home guards on himself. No, he does not have home guards on himself, so he can't get back to defend quickly. And we just see Paragon ripping through the turret. Lasha there to help him. Not anything Mukate can do, and it looks like they will start to focus on the Nexus, Freak. After being on their heels for so long, they find a mouse hole to fit through and find the Nexus.
Excellent job there. Life good for